A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one, when I wasn't expecting to learn anything more about Battlefield 2042 before EA Play on July 22nd. Xbox came along yesterday and in their extended showcase presented a video with Dan Berlin, design director on the game, where he went more in depth about what to expect to get our hands on in October. We also had a behind the scenes community stream from DICE that revealed some super interesting things like the first image of Hazard Zone. And I've watched both of these multiple times to get the best and most important facts for you. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Let's get into this. So what we're about to watch here first is huge, and it's definitely reassured a lot of fans who saw the gameplay trailer, myself included, that the game will actually have destruction in it. They've hyped it up in the past at earnings call, but as I stated in my last video, apart from the tornado-sized elephant in the room, we didn't get much destruction at all, but check this out.
Down to the south of the map you'll have a fully destructible village. And this is a great space for infantry and vehicles alike, because you know as a Battlefield player that infantry is skulking around inside the buildings, but you know when you're in your tank or your attack helicopter, you can just can destroy those buildings and get access to the infantry. And you can go further east and you'll find a bunch of high-rises, skyscrapers. And so there's a whole section there where you can enter the skyscrapers, you can go up to the top of them, you can zip line between the roofs, have fights in between the rooftops. But if you want to change it up even more, you can basically skydive off of the skyscrapers. And if you're playing a particular specialist that has access to a wingsuit, you can actually glide across the entire map space and get yourself all the way over to the stadium, which is on the east side of the map. And the stadium itself, it's a place you go when you really want to just take out your shotgun and have some close quarters combat.
Down to the south of the map you'll have a fully destructible village. If you're a Battlefield fan, well, that's music to your ears, and from what Dan is describing, it sounds like you'll be able to break down walls and ceilings to get access to anyone camping on the inside. In my head, it brings back memories and images of the village area on Golmud Railway with some intense CQB fighting. And can I just say that this village wasn't even in the reveal or gameplay trailers at all. And I think that's a good indication of exactly how big these maps are. We saw the stadium, the sand dunes in between, the arches with the roadblock and the large downtown area. But to think that there's other parts of the map and another huge village further to the south, that's quite exciting indeed. His comment about the wingsuit too was quite eye-opening. Sundance is one of the specialists in the game, and their passive trait replaces the parachute with a wingsuit. We did see this in the trailers of course, and Dan explained that you can actually get to a high point such as the skyscrapers if you want to, and theoretically glide across the map to the stadium. Whether that's for sightseeing, attacking a tank from above, or just moving to a distant capture point, that sounds awesome, and I'm certainly going to enjoy sniping anyone that attempts that. It will be great for scouring these huge maps for Easter eggs however, but just thinking about that and the hours we'll spend finding nothing makes me kind of sad inside, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. They revealed some more info about two of the other maps as well. Orbital is one of the studio's favourites in the playtests, and this is the map with the rocket launch. Apparently some people will just sit and wait for the rocket launch to see it take off, whether it launches successfully or not. Unsuccessful launches, they say, are quite spectacular and do affect the level. So you've got this big open space in front of the rocket, but infantry can fight through building to building combat on the sides. And on the other side of the mountain is a cryo facility, which we haven't seen at all yet. And to get to it, you can fly, you can choose to take the roads or run over the mountain itself, but there's also a massive tunnel underneath that goes all the way through to it from the launch pad. And in that space you can have infantry fighting and vehicle combat, tanks going toe-to-toe, and even helicopters if the pilot is skilled enough. It's giving me Mission Impossible flashbacks. We got to see this image too, demonstrating the scale of these maps, and it compares old maps in the series in various games to the new ones. Hourglass and Breakaway in particular truly are massive. Just think to yourself for a second how big Hamada is from Battlefield 5, and then look at that. It's crazy. And the biggest map at launch is Breakaway. They said this is 5.9 kilometers squared, comparing it to the Battlefield 1942 map El Alamein here. I mean, that's just ridiculous. These play spaces are humongous. Breakaway features an oil port, which is an industrial space with silos and barracks for people to live in, and huge industrial warehouses for fighting. There's a big oil rig too, so you can fight on it or inside it, and huge sprawling Arctic tundras, giving players the opportunity to choose how and where they want to fight. Now then, Hazard Zone. Take a look at this. This is our first clue as to what this mode may entail, and at the community stream, Dice had this to say. Hazard Zone takes the Battlefield formula to a new level. This game mode is a high-stakes, squad-based experience, but more contemporary in its design, and not a battle royale. It's a brand new mode for the franchise, which builds tension as you play, and squad play is key. The choices that you make in terms of what you choose to bring in with you and what your squad choose to bring are of incredibly high importance. It's a game mode where you'll need tight communication and a bit of a tension builder. Sounds really interesting, and the running theory at the moment, based on what DICE have said so far, is that it's some kind of extraction game mode similar to Tarkov or Hunt Showdown. The fact that they're saying it's high stakes implies that you have a lot to lose, whether that means permadeath, loot or inventory. And the comment about how important it is what you and your squad choose to bring into the level also heavily reinforces that idea. In the art here we can see some soldiers on an aircraft carrier and then another in the background absolutely rammed with jets, and it looks like the soldiers are in a staging area all geared up with guns and equipment ready to go on a mission, departing on the Little Bird helicopter there. So what we're looking at there could be a concept for a social hub or pre-game area where you choose a loadout with your squad and what to bring into the match. In the sky there's a bright blue light with a trail behind it. You might brush this off initially as a meteorite falling to Earth, but from what we know of the story in Battlefield 2042, this could be a satellite and key to the gameplay of Hazard Zone. For a bit of context, in the world of Battlefield, there's a global blackout in the year 2040, and the Earth loses the majority of its satellites. Some of them come crashing down to the ground. Therefore, it could be that in Hazard Zone, you'll be fighting over crashed satellites, whether that's for valuable materials or information, the goal being to get in and get out while you extract resources without losing your life. They touched more on the plus system too. We saw this in the gameplay trailer, and that allows you to change your weapon attachments while your boot's on the ground. And this has definitely been met with some curiosity from the community, some seeing it as a gimmick, some liking it, and others just thinking it will turn you into an overpowered one-man army. DICE said that this is a huge addition to the game, and they claim that it will rectify situations where a player found themselves in an unexpected position, asking themselves, do I just respawn and change my gear to actually be efficient here? This says no to that question because you can change the barrel, the underbarrel, the scope, and even the ammo type on the fly. But Dan Berlin said that there's a range and limit in terms of balance, which is important to call out. You can't have an SMG and turn it into a sniper rifle, is the example that he gave. So the SMG will still fit into its category of usages, but it can deviate slightly to either side of that. It's not removing the need for different weapon archetypes, rather making each weapon archetype wider in its usage. Apart from that, there were a couple of extra details about certain things. They reaffirmed that any specialist can choose any primary weapon, and then they've got their unique gadget and trait that only they can get, and an open gadget slot where they can pick anything that they want. AI bots, again a confirmation that you can play solo against AI, with and against AI, and with and against real players and AI at the same time. Bit of a mix. And this will be great for new players, for just testing stuff, and for regions where there's a lower player population. The Tornado and Sandstorm make use of the new Frostbite engine physics system, creating chaos, destroying stuff and interacting with everything in their path. They are huge entities that move across the map and you don't know where they're going to go. They can take different paths. Sometimes they'll be on a map, sometimes you'll play around and they won't happen at all. They confirmed that 360-degree turrets are back on certain vehicles with guns on them, and the vehicles take more skill to control now because of the new physics. The progression in 2042 is streamlined, so you can unlock hardware while playing as any specialist. Regarding live service and new content, all of the gameplay features will be unlockable in the free tier of the Battle Pass, including all new locations and specialists. And finally, at the end, they teased again what DICE LA have been working on. We'll learn more about that at EA Play in July, and they said that the experience they've developed is quite special, and recently they had a huge team meeting on a call showing the other studios the latest update from that DICE LA project, and apparently the chat exploded. No further details than that. They're really hyping this one up. With that said, that's about it. It was definitely worth sitting through those broadcasts, as they tend to have extra snippets of info, they show more graphics, and they do come across a bit more personal than just a trailer, because you actually get to see the developers and what they have to say from their experience. And that's all for today, folks. Do let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.